Cast your mind back to WWDC when Apple showcased some of its latest and greatest features across its 3 operating systems. Now, there were 3 features that they showcased that have actually been in Windows for quite some time, but they're rubbish, absolutely useless in fact, to the point where I've either turned them off or simply stopped trying to use them. So I'm going to run through them from least important to makes me want to go and spend 10 grand on Apple products to replace my Windows and Android equivalents. The first one is not strictly Microsoft, it's actually more Logitech and their version of the universal control features that Apple introduced, which allows you to use your Mac trackpad and keyboard on your iPad and to copy and paste files or even drag files between the 2 devices. Logitech actually released their version of this functionality called Flow back in 2017, that's 4 years ago. And I have a Logitech keyboard and mouse, specifically I have the Craft keyboard and the MX Master 3. And I've tried using this Flow functionality between my desktop PC and my Microsoft Surface, and it's poor. It kind of works okay going from my desktop to my Surface, but when I try and come back the other way, I find it takes about 5 goes before it'll actually work. And to be honest with you, I prefer to use the physical buttons to switch between devices. The functionality does support copy and paste, but it does not work with drag and drop. Effectively, I think this comes down to user experience design, which is a reoccurring theme. When I watched Apple's keynote where they showcased the universal control feature, I was struck by that little animation that showed that you were switching from one device to the other. It might seem like a simple thing, but the number of times when I've tried to switch from one device to the other using Logitech Flow and I've not been aware that that change has happened. It's those little interactions, those little animations that actually can make all the difference to whether a feature is usable or not. The next one is integration between the OS and your phone, iPhone in Apple's case. Now, I know this is something that Microsoft are rapidly improving on, but even so, when I went to check out the latest features in preparation for this video, I had to go through so many hoops in order to get the things set up, multiple pairing operations between my phone and my PC, and I had to provide permissions to all sorts of things, and I even had to turn off focus mode on my PC in order to get the calling to work. The one feature that I really wanted to use was copying and pasting content from my phone to my desktop. But it turns out when I looked at the help files that this only works with some Samsung devices and the Surface Duo. Now, fair enough, Apple only have to make it work with the iPhone technically, but this is a theme across these features. Much like Windows 11, it only works if you've got the right device. The user experience is generally subpar and it's hard to set up. The last feature, and one that I think Microsoft need to up their game on pretty quickly, is the Shortcuts app coming to macOS. Now, Microsoft released Power Automate Desktop back in December 2020, and the web version of that, Microsoft Flow as it was called, came out 4 years before that. And I've got quite a lot of use cases for Power Automate Desktop. I'd like to use it to launch and close different applications throughout my workday depending on the workflow that I need. I don't know if you've had more success with it, but for me it's really poor. I just wanted to create a quick flow to launch 3 applications that I use every single day, and I just cannot get it to work. Now, yes, I might be doing something wrong, and if I spend an hour on Stack Overflow, I might be able to figure it out, but I shouldn't have to. Bearing in mind, I'm a web developer. I've been using APIs for years, as well as tools like Zapier and Power Automate and Zoho Flow. If I can't get it to work first time, then I highly doubt that the average Windows user is going to either. Now, in all of this, I realized that the elephant in the room is that I haven't actually used Apple's versions of these features and tried them out for myself. I've configured Apple devices multiple times over the past several years as part of my work in IT management, but I haven't used an Apple device daily for about a decade now. But if I switch to Apple sometime in the next year, I'd bet quite a bit of money, and I'll have to because Apple devices cost so much, that I won't be disappointed. Because I find with Windows and Android features that while they're often first to market, sometimes by several years, they're actually stuck at 85% complete, specifically when it comes to user experience. Now, if you vehemently disagree with any of this, and perhaps you're in the process of copying a rebuttal that you've typed up on your Samsung S21 to paste it onto your laptop where you're going to add some finishing touches and then use your Logitech devices to flow it over to your desktop, where a click of the button will tell Power Automate Desktop to spam my social media feeds with your disgust. I'd really like to see that. Could you video it, please? Thanks.